Hello everybody, HectiX here, and welcome back to the TXR3 Heavyweight Challenge. Now, in this episode, we are going to be moving to Tokyo. So I did ask in the last episode whether or not people wanted me to do Tokyo next or Osaka, and the vote ended up being Tokyo. So I will be doing Tokyo in this part, and probably over the next few parts, because I doubt I can do all of Tokyo Stage 1 in one episode. Well, I could, it would probably just be 2 to 3 hours long, and I don't plan to do that. However, also on top of that, two friends that I challenged last episode, they are unable to take part in the challenge due to some hardware limitations, so they will not be taking part, sadly. However, the Banter Gaming channel still has not given me a response whether or not both Raj and Benson will take part. So hopefully they do. I look forward to seeing that. But with that, let's move to Tokyo. And hopefully this goes well with this massive barge. Because I'm not looking forward to Bloodhound and Dejected Angel. Believe me. Out of the two, I do believe this is the hardest one. Osaka I do think Osaka would have been easier in the end. But, yeah, we'll just get started on this. I forgot to turn my timer on. Whoops, there we go. And we begin. Now, I will be doing Wanderers if I see them, just because that's extra rivals. So first up, rolling guy number 4. So this should be an easy race. It is a Toyota AE86, so yeah, this should not be difficult by any means. There we go. Goodbye. And then we just cruise. There's really no challenge here outside of me potentially to spin out, as well as me hitting the van like a moron. That's pretty much the only way I'm gonna lose this. Because let's be real, there's no way I'm gonna just decide to, hit the brakes, slow down, and just let him pass. Nah. I'm definitely not gonna be doing that. Now hopefully my controller doesn't start to act up, because I did notice a few days ago when I was finishing off Gran Turismo 3, my controller has a tendency to glitch out a bit. So I'm hoping that doesn't really show that much. You'll be able to tell when you just randomly see my lights flickering out of nowhere, because for some reason my R2 button is glitched. For some reason it just decides it's being pressed when it's not, and it just spasms out until I click it, and I can't figure out why. It's not like it's being stuck either, so yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. This is going to be interesting for other games that use that particular button in terms of like e-brakes and that sort of thing. So hopefully that doesn't come to bite me in the butt. I'd rather it not. Because again, I could use my PS4 controller. However, during mid-recording, whether or not it happens once, multiple times, who knows, but it randomly gives a disconnect noise, and I don't know why. Even though it doesn't affect like me driving around and anything like that, it works just fine. It just gives me the Windows error noise saying, oh, you've disconnected something from one of your USB ports, and I don't know why. It's not like it becomes loose. It's not like I have to plug the controller back in to get it to work. I don't know why it's doing that. Actually, if anybody knows, I did Google it before, but if anybody does know why that's happening and there's a way to stop it, please let me know. That would help a lot, because I would personally prefer to use the PS4 controller, but just because it's more ergonomic. But yeah, for the time being, I will be using my old Logitech controller. Well, my brother's Logitech controller. I kind of ended up starting to use it, and it just sort of became mine. So yeah, my brother bought it, and I just happened to steal it from him. And it sort of became mine, and just with the amount of times I ended up using it. So considering my brother rarely uses a controller on his computer to begin with, so it sort of just became my controller just because of how often just because of how often I'm on my emulator. So, well, at least I wasn't the only one to hit it. There we go. That's the first fine drive member done and dusted. So I will be taking care of C1 inner first, and then we'll move on to oh, right. So I can't go back to the garage, because then I would say, oh, then I'd move on to C1 outer. But I will have to use the pit lane to do so. Because again, the rules for the challenge, I'm surprised I didn't mention it before, but again, you can find it down in the description if you want to take part. Again, you will need a New Game Plus save, or if you're starting fresh, you just use whatever the heaviest starting car is. I do believe it's the Mark II. I could be wrong. But in terms of the rules, not allowed to lose a race, obviously. Wouldn't be permadeath if you just went around doing whatever. So have to pick the heaviest car in the game. In the case, this is the Mercedes S600L, which I'm currently driving. You have to put the heaviest parts on the car, no weight reduction whatsoever. Power parts are all fair game, except for the engine. If you can use a engine swap, then you are free to do so. However, it does have to be heavier than the default engine. As well as in terms of coursing in, once you course in, you are not allowed to return back to the garage to refresh your tires. So sadly, this does mean if you do plan to do a episodic series on this, save states will be allowed only in the pits, however. And obviously, no cheating, no abusing that, so wouldn't be a challenge if you could. I wish I could get around the fact of having to use save states, but there's no way to do one set of tires without it, unless I plan to sit here literally all day playing this game. And yeah, I don't plan to do that. So yeah, if you do plan to take part or actually try the challenge yourself, those are the rules. Again, I will leave all of the information down in the description. English is definitely difficult for me today. Haven't actually been recording for 10 minutes, and I'm already stumbling over my words. This is not good. But our next fine drive member shouldn't be too difficult. I would say, oh, it's just an S14, but even in late game, the S14 is quite good. So, just because he's an Act 1 or Stage 1 rival, well, yeah, that determines whether or not if he's going to be easy or difficult. So, just because he's Stage 1, he's a joke. There we go. Now, if anybody down in the comment section actually understands Japanese and can read it, I'm curious as to if my name, my special bad name, ends up changing. Well, not special, but my bad name changes depending on the fact I'm using a stupidly heavy car and the fact that I'm going without losing. So curious what it ends up becoming. If anybody understands Japanese and can read it, feel free to let me know what my bad name is. I'm actually quite curious. Don't need to go into the pits. Max cooling for the win. Boy, that just timestamped this video. Can't remember the last time I said that. Oh god. You know you're old when. Oh, Rico-chan. Good to see the Starlet make an appearance yet again. This is normally always the first wanderer you race if you do on the first day. Typically she's always here, so it's either her or it's White Tiger if you start in C1. I don't believe if you start in the Shinkanjo area you can get a wanderer day 1. I don't believe so. Well, actually, technically you probably can. Actually, no, yeah, you definitely can. If you go into the car part shop and change your headlights to be xenons or whatever, you can get Glamorous to show up on day 1, more than likely. So yeah, technically you can get a Wanderer day 1 in the Shinkanjo area. Now I don't want to slide into the divider there. Now do we have anybody left, or am I having to do a full drive all the way around to go to the pit lane? Waiting to see the rivals change on the map. I do believe so. I am going back to the pit, so I will see you all in a brief moment. Okay, and we are back out on the track, and I do believe we'll get Immortal Clown. There he is. So our second Wanderer for this episode, 3rd in total. Don't know how many more we're going to get. I do believe I'm going to run into White Tiger though, so definitely gonna have at least 4. Whether or not we get a couple more from Osaka, we'll probably end up getting at least 3 of them. Normally I do, but in terms of anyone else, I don't actually know. Because I didn't change the lights on this, I'm not able to get Glamorous to show up, because that would be another rival. I'm actually surprised I didn't think to do that. But I will also have to quickly park up here and wait for the rival behind me. There goes Immortal Clown. Should probably put this in first. There we go. And it's another Fine Drive member. Interesting. I was actually kind of expecting SS Limited or another Rolling Guy member. But nope, Fine Drive. Wonder who we're gonna get first though. Out of the 3 of them. Who we're gonna get first for the team leader. Surprisingly, it's usually Fine Drive for me at least. So kinda thinking I'm gonna get them. Finished first at least. After that, normally it's Rolling Guy and then SS Limited. But whether or not that pattern resumes for this run through, I do not know. Tires are definitely getting a little bit worn. Just a little bit. Actually, what are we at right now? We're up to 8 wins, so a couple more races, and yeah, the tires are going to be shot to hell. Boy, this is going to be a pain in the butt to race. Actually, all 3 of them, Betrayal, Bloodhound, and Dejected Angel. Now I would very much like to get all of the rivals done before finishing the bosses, or at least finishing Dejected, because once you do, if you have any remaining rivals left, you can't race them. It sends you right back to the garage and you have to go to the next city. So I would kind of like to get everyone done and then finish with Dejected Angel. That is, if I beat Bloodhound. And Drifter in Hell. The only reason I know this guy is because this, again, what used to be my YouTube name. I took my name from this guy here. And obviously I remember because he's driving a green S13 and he's in fine drive. So don't know if the name, or yeah, the bad name he has right now directly translated into Drifter in Hell. I do not know. Or if they just gave him some random name just for the sake of. There we go. That's him done. So that's up to 9, I do believe. Yep. Now, on part 1 of this series, somebody did ask if I could do another playthrough of this game. However, I don't know if I would end up doing that, just because I've already finished the entire game. So, well, I've already finished the entire game and recorded it all. So I don't know if doing another entire Let's Play would be, you know, as interesting as doing it the first time. Just because this game is quite long. So, not to mention, I kind of don't want to go through and redo all of the Wanderers again. Just because that can get kind of tedious and time consuming. So if I do go for 100%, yeah, I'd have to probably end up doing that off screen. And then just showing me race the final boss. But I don't know if I want to do that all over again. Although if I do end up doing the front-wheel drive challenge idea, maybe I could do the entire thing as a Let's Play, which is what I originally thought. But it would involve a lot of cheesing and a lot of editing. Because, good God, doing stage 2 with a front-wheel drive car is not going to be easy by any means. Lacking power, acceleration, and the fact with the drivetrain is not very good. So, yeah. I don't know. That depends on if anybody wants to see me do a front-wheel drive challenge. But, yeah, that really does depend on you guys and whether or not you let me know. If I don't hear anything, whether or not I do it, I do not know. That's going to be a heavy hit, yeah. Not that money matters right now. I don't hit as many walls as I can. Or I don't want to. Not that I do, but... yeah, it would be nice to not just squander my SP if I can help it. Because again, if I hit something and I lose a race via that, then that counts. So the tires should be mostly finished now. So we're up to at least 10 wins. Yeah, the tires are definitely slipping a bit. Only good thing about Tokyo right now for this is there's a lot of walls to wall ride. So I can kind of mitigate the whole tire situation for the most part. But I can still see it obviously going to bite me in the butt at some point. Ooh, rolling guy member. It's been a little bit since we had one, so another easy victory, provided I don't do anything stupid. Excuse me. Thank you. Yeah, like right now, I'm not even pushing the high beam button, and it's flashing the high beams. So yeah, this controller definitely has a bit of a glitch. This also doesn't help for the case of another game I was planning to get back into, because that's the handbrake button. And the last thing I need to do is have the handbrake spammed when I don't need it to be. So yeah. And really, the team leader for rolling guy first. Okay. Interesting. I was not expecting to get them first. I really was actually expecting fine drive, but this works. Still going to be an easy race, but this works. Now on C1 inner, this is probably going to be the most difficult corner. Well, this and the next one after this, pretty much. Just because if I go too fast into that corner, I will spin out. Doesn't matter if your tires are fresh or not. And then this section here. Oh, perfect timing. Makes it easier to go around the next corner. Hello, rolling guy number 2. Nice of you to join us. It's a shame you are going to lose. There we go. He's going to stay behind. I was hoping not to hit the van. I was hoping to use that as a bounce and, you know, bounce ahead, but so much for that plan. Tires are definitely shot to hell. Eesh. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oop, crap. Now I start taking it easy. Yep, good through there. Perfect. That was close. I was not expecting it to be that close. But that's what happens when you have a very heavy car with very poor tires. Hard on the brakes. There we go. So we do still have somebody there. I might do a jump cut, just because it's going to take a little bit to get to them. So actually, yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, we finally caught up. Let's see. Ooh, 2000cc. Good to see him make an appearance again. Now I don't know if this is our last fine drive member, or if we have one or two more left. Ooh, the lack of tires is definitely not helping. I already don't have very much pickup and go, but once I shift up into 4th, good god, this thing becomes very, very sluggish. Use the bus as a little bit of a bounce, or a little bit of a brace rather. There we go. All right, here to victory. Ooh, a little bit too sideways there. If I can try and avoid that, that would be good. There we go. That is not the last fine drive member. Okay. Now, I know I just did a jump cut, but I will be doing another one here, because I gotta drive to the pits to refresh the actual highway, so be right back. Okay, now it's time for our 3rd run, and I do believe this will be the final run on C1. for this episode. That is, if I don't lose right now, then it's definitely the last run. I would hope that it's not going to be. I do want to make this as long as I possibly can. Ooh, there go the tires. That's not a good place to start. Now, typically, you would want to start in a corner when you're fighting against the harder opponents, i.e. pretty much all the bosses. But in the case for this car, the shot tires, I don't know if that's a very good idea. I think that would end up being probably more of a hindrance than just starting normally on one of the straight sections. I don't quite know yet. We haven't had a boss this episode yet. But we do have the Fine Drive team leader to face. So let's kick Funky Monkey's butt. So I do believe that's his name in English. Don't know if that's what the Japanese up there actually translates to. Because again, I sadly cannot read it. As much as I would like to, I can't. And also, speaking of, I really do need to get back on top of my actual bit of Japanese practice. But yeah, kanji's proving to be quite difficult. Oop, don't want to hit the bus. There we go. That's him done. Now, we won't get we won't get Betrayal Jackknife until we finish SS Limited, as well as Galaxy Racers. Or I do believe it's 2 more teams of any kind. So I think you need at least 4 of the C1 teams finished in order to get Betrayal to show up. So, did not want to hit the bus, but oh well. But yeah, I do believe it's 4 of any of them. I don't believe it has to be a certain few. Oop, don't want to spin out. Now, if it does have to be a certain few, I would find that quite strange. But anyway, SS Limited is up next. And it's the final team of C1 Inner as well. Well, at least here in Stage 1 anyway. Ooh, bit of a slide there on launch. That's not good. I'm glad we're not fighting any of the more difficult opponents. Because the tires right now were not very good at all. Yeah, this is going to be very, very difficult when it comes time to fight Betrayal, Bloodhound, and Dejected Angel. Ooh, really? Was not expecting that. Kinda like to pass you. Please and thank you. There we go. Oh, I thought I lost right there. Ooh, that was close. I hit the wall and I saw my SP bar drop. So I'm going, please don't lose. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, that's the tires kicking in, finally. Yeah, this thing does not like turning right now. Any sort of movement is getting the car to just completely step out. Oop, there's the first spin for the episode. Okay, that it's good that it didn't happen during a race. Although it almost did. I'm actually quite surprised that after being slammed into the wall at the very end of that last race, the car didn't proceed to spin out. So who do we have next? Ooh, an our gang's member. May as well race him. So I can kinda kite them towards C1. So should be able to bring him into the C1 area. Now, I did not anticipate thinking about a draw, so I will take draws as a loss, just to be on the safe side. Oop. Well, that's a very lazy drift. I'm actually surprised that that didn't go horribly wrong. Also, did he spin out or something? Looking at his aero on the mini-map, I think he may have hit the divider and completely spun around. I don't actually know. Interesting. I don't think I've actually ever seen that happen before either. Stupid AI. Anyway, let's move on to our next rival. Should be another SS Limited member since that's all we have left. There we go. Now I do believe that... No, do you start with that car? I can't remember. I don't think you do, never mind. I can't remember if this car's already unlocked from the base, or right from the very beginning. Usually I go with the same few cars and I don't really pay much attention to everything else. Now, I also do believe, since I am in technically a sedan, I do believe if I drive past them, they will auto-challenge me. Because if you drive the Nissan Safiro, which you do get at the very beginning of the game, they will flash their high beams at you, because you are in a sedan. So, I do believe they will do the same to me being in this Mercedes-Benz. But we do have a little bit of a drive to the next rival. Wonder if we're going to get White Tiger to make an appearance. So that's going to be a fun race. This versus another MR2. That and also having a massive, massive handicap with the tires. However, I'm very glad I can just wall ride everything. Something you can't do in TXR3 with its sticky walls, which I'm still not too keen on, but I guess it stops you from really cheesing the game. Here we go, another SS Limited in a Nissan Grand... It's not a Toyota, I know that. Gran Turismo Ultima? I do believe it's a Nissan. Or it's a Gloria Turismo, I can't remember. All I remember is I did use it for a sedan Let's Play I wanted to do. Well, personal playthrough. And it only has 4 gears, which I did not know. Which, honestly, isn't as much of a hindrance in this game as you would think. Because if you do set it up properly, you can be just as fast with a 4-speed as you can with a 6-speed, so... all good. But there we go. Now we're up to 2.0 win rating. Well, combo bonus. So that means we're at 20 wins. Yep, exactly 20. There we go, the high beams again. I had to push the button to get it to stop. I really don't know why my controller's acting that way. Oh god. Well, there's the second spin for this episode. So I am going to drive into the pits, and I think that's where we're going to call this episode. I'm surprised I didn't do as much rambling as I normally do. And is that who I think it is? See, when it finally actually clues... Oh my god, it is! I did not know you could get him on day 1. Interesting. Kyoru on day 1. I was not expecting that. Actually, did not even know that. That's even news to me. Even though I put how many hours in this game? So there we go. We're up to 54 wins in a row. Hopefully we can beat that 34 win combo we got in Nagoya. But in the next episode, hopefully we do also manage to beat Betrayal Jackknife, because he is definitely going to be making an appearance, and it's going to be very, very difficult with this massive barge. But with that, thank you very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Bye-bye.